Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Surbhi Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 11th of April. Voting held for first phase of India's general election. Doha meeting on Afghan peace postponed to April 19th. And around 90% were completed on IndoNepal Pipeline. And now for all the details. Indians turned out in huge numbers to vote in the first phase of the general election on Thursday. Voting in the first of 7 phases of the election was held in 91 parliament constituencies across 20 provinces and federally administered regions.
Indians turned out in huge numbers to vote in the first phase of a mammoth general election on Thursday, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeking a second term after campaigning on his national security record amid tensions with ARC 4, Pakistan. Long queues outside many polling stations were a common sight. Voting in the first of 7 rounds was held in 91 parliament constituencies across 20 provinces and federally administered regions. There are in total 543 seats at stake.
ये हुकूमत ने अच्छा किया ताकि यहाँ वोट खुद स्टेशन पर आ सके और अपनी हक राय का इस्तेमाल कर सके.
The election is spread over 39 days with the final phase on May 19. The first phase of voting covered an electorate of 142 million. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP is the front-runner despite economic distress over mounting unemployment and weak farm incomes in rural areas where 2/3 of Indians live.
I just expect for the candidate who has elected giving in our right should be bring in our state as a development, peace, harmony and prosperity.
The main opposition Congress party has sought allies among regional parties to defeat the BJP over its record on the economy. However, the upsurge in nationalist fervour has undermined its strategy. The results of the 7-phase general election would be announced on May 23rd.
Moving on. Activists in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have expressed concerns over the issue of serious environmental damage caused the diversion of Neelam River for commissioning the Neelam-Jhelum hydropower project in the illegally occupied region. They also raised concerns over the newly proposed Kohala project, which will see diversion of the Jhelum River.
Activists in Pakistan-administered Kashmir have expressed concerns over serious environmental damage caused by the diversion of Neelam River for commissioning the Neelam-Jhelum hydropower project in the illegally occupied region. A sit-in protest is being held by an alliance of civil society activists in Muzaffarabad city, highlighting the massive water crisis which has built up of late in the region, making the lives of the common people miserable.
मुकम्मल इजाला तो मुमकिन नहीं है, चूँकि अगस्त 2018 में जब ये दरिया डाइवर्ट हुआ तो उसके फ़ौरन बाद मुजफ्फराबाद में माहौलियाती तब्दीलियाँ रुनमा हुई, जिसमें सबसे अहम और ख़तरनाक तरीन तब्दीली यहाँ पर दर्जा हरारत में इजाफे का था. यानी आप ये देखें कि यहाँ जब दर्जा हरारत का इजाफा होगा तो इसके साथ ही जो बाबून टाप है या रत्ती गली है, यहाँ पर जितने भी ग्लेशियर्स हैं जिनसे मिलकर दरिया नीलम बनता है वो सारे तेज़ी से पिघलेंगे और विदिन 10 to 12 years ये जो दरिया नीलम है ये बिल्कुल खुश्क हो जाएगा.
Neelam River has now turned into a small rivulet of sewage right from Nausari to Domil, where it merges in Jhelum River. Residents of Muzaffarabad are already reeling from the adverse effects of diversion of Neelam River, the newly proposed Kohala project, which will see diversion of Jhelum River through a similar tunnel system, has compounded their worries.
In news from Afghanistan, the Doha meeting between Afghan politicians and the Taliban, initially scheduled for April 14th, has been postponed to April 19th. The decision to postpone the meeting was taken by the newly established Reconciliation Leadership Council on Wednesday.
The meeting between Afghan politicians and the Taliban, which was initially scheduled for April 14th, has been postponed to April 19 as per the decision of the newly established Reconciliation Leadership Council, chaired by Afghan President Ashraf Ghani. The presidential palace confirmed in a statement on Wednesday. The council, with an initial 37 members including Chief Executive Abdullah and former President Hamid Karzai, held its first meeting on April 6th. Their second meeting was held on Wednesday to follow up the decisions made in their first meeting. Preparations for the Qatar meeting, completion of the members of the council and the formation of the negotiating team were discussed in the Wednesday's meeting. Last month, US Special Envoy Zalmay Khalilzad had wrapped a marathon round of talks with the Taliban negotiators in Doha, where the two sides reportedly reached agreement in draft on troop withdrawal and counter-terrorism assurances.
More news from Afghanistan. A widely circulated footage on social media in Afghanistan showed a group of angry mob destroying ballot boxes which were aimed at electing Takhar province delegates for the Grand Consultative Jirga on Peace. The traditional assembly, to be held later this month, is expected to decide on the future path towards peace in the country. Selection of provincial delegates for Peace Jirga in Afghanistan's Takhar province was disrupted, showed a widely circulated footage on social media in the country. The video shows a group of angry mob destroying ballot boxes which were aimed at electing Takhar province delegates for the Grand Consultative Jirga on Peace, an assembly which will decide on the future path towards peace in Afghanistan. The Jirga, which will consist of almost 2,500 delegates, has been scheduled for the end of April.
زمین‌های تقلب از قبل آماده شده بود و ما شاهد از این بودیم که خیلی‌ها چندین مرتبه آمدن رای دادن بیرون شدن پس رفتن دوباره.
این راهنمود از مرکز آمد، حتی تعداد خود کسایی که رای میارن به مو میزان مشخص شد داخل شهر شما چی اندازه نامزد ولسوالی شما به چی تعداد هست.
Meanwhile, some activists in Afghan capital Kabul said the irregularities in the selection of Jirga delegates has created concerns among them. According to officials, 1,300 delegates have been finalized so far. In news from Nepal, an official from the Nepal Oil Corporation has said that the pipe-laying work on the IndoNepal Pipeline project is near completion with around 90% work done. India and Nepal has signed the agreement over the construction of the pipeline in 2015.
Pipe-laying work of the Indo-Nepal Transborder Pipeline project is near completion with about 90% work completed and test supply to be done by May, an official said. The official said that the project had a deadline of 30 months for completion, but 80% of it was completed in just less than 15 months. The petroleum pipeline stretches from India's Bihar province to Bara region in Nepal, covering a distance of over 40 miles.
जंगलको क्षेत्रहरु चाहिँ कति समय अब गरिँदैछ भन्नु न धेरै त नलाग्ला त्यसपछि स्टेसन वर्कहरु पनि भइरहेको छ स्टेसनमा जति बल्बहरु जति मिटर युनिटहरु पम्पहरु त्यो स्टोरेजहरु सबै मर्मत नि अहिले एकदम स्पिडमै भइरहेछ काम अब त्यसपछि टेस्टिङका कामहरु हुन्छन् त्यसपछि सर्टिफिकेसनका कामहरु हुन्छन् अनि त्यसपछि पम्पिङ गरेर तेल ल्याउने काम गर्दाखेरि
The petroleum pipeline is being jointly constructed by India and Nepal government. The two neighbors had signed the agreement for the construction of the pipeline in 2015 in Kathmandu during the visit of Indian Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan to Nepal.
Tourists from across the country and abroad have started flocking the picturesque Kashmir Valley to soak themselves in its pristine natural beauty. Tourists get attracted to its soaring peaks, fruit orchards and timber houseboats in the famous Dal Lake.
With the onset of spring season in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir, tourists from across the country and abroad have started flocking the picturesque Kashmir Valley to soak themselves in its pristine natural beauty. Tourists were seen enjoying with their families and clicking photographs on the banks of famous Dal Lake in Srinagar city of the valley. Apart from enjoying its natural beauty, tourists also visit historical Mughal garden, Asia's largest tulip garden, Gulmarg Hill Station, mosques and Hindu temples in the valley.
It's very special in India. The whole India gets a different look, right? This area gets the mountain, the snow and the lake. Wow.
I think Kashmir is very good. Don't worry. You can go. You can live on here and travel. Very good.
Kashmir is considered one of the most popular tourist destinations in India. Once dubbed Switzerland of the East, Kashmir has been a heaven for skiers, honeymooners and filmmakers who are drawn to its soaring peaks, fruit orchards and timber houseboats in the Dal Lake. It is also the mainstay of the economy of Kashmir, as many locals depend on tourism for their handloom, handicraft and tourism-related businesses.
A Muslim man has been cleaning and taking care of a Hindu temple in India's southern Bengaluru city for the last 3 years ahead of the annual celebrations of Ram Navami festival. Devotees thronging the temple appreciate his commitment towards promoting the message of communal harmony in the society. In what could be perceived as an example of devotion with no boundaries, a 27-year-old Muslim man has been cleaning and taking care of a temple in Rajajinagar area of India's southern Bengaluru city. Saddam Hussain has been cleaning the temple for the last 3 years ahead of Hindu festival Ram Navami that marks the celebrations of the birth anniversary of Lord Rama. Devotees thronging the temple appreciate the work done by Hussain and his commitment towards promoting the message of communal harmony in the society.
इधर तो हमारा राजनगर क्षेत्र में ऐसा कोई हिंदू मुस्लिम का दुश्मनी कुछ नहीं है. हम लोग सभी इधर भाई भाई जैसा ही रहता है.
Ram Navami falls on the 9th day of the moonlit fortnight in the Chaitra month as per Hindu calendar, which usually coincides with the spring season. Hindu devotees consider it an auspicious day and some even observe a strict fast on the occasion. Ram Navami will be celebrated across the country on April 13th. Exiled Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama's condition improved on Thursday after he was admitted to a hospital for chest infection in Indian capital New Delhi earlier this week. Meanwhile, the spiritual leader's followers held special prayers for his well-being and long life.
Exiled Tibetan spiritual leader the Dalai Lama on Thursday continued to recuperate after being admitted at a hospital for chest infection in Indian capital New Delhi. Dalai Lama, who has been living in exile in the northern Indian hill town of Dharamshala since 1959, was flown to New Delhi for a checkup after he felt discomfort on Tuesday. Exiled Tibetans residing in New Delhi held special prayers for his well-being and long life. The spiritual leader's press secretary said he has more or less fully recovered, but it was not clear when he would be discharged from hospital.
सभी मिल के यहाँ पे एक उसकी लंबी उम्र उसको जल्दी जो ठीक होने के लिए हम लोग एक पूजा हम लोग यहाँ पे रखे हुए हैं ताकि पूजा ही नहीं हम जो एक प्रेयर फ्लैग भी हम लोग लगा रहा है और कहीं जगह पे हम लोग को जो मच्छी वगैरह हम लोग को मतलब छोड़ रहा है कि उसके लंबी उम्र जीने के लिए.
The 83-year-old Nobel Peace Laureate is known globally for spreading message of peace through his sermons and holding teaching sessions across the world. He has set up his seat of power in India's northern Dharamshala town, which is also regarded as the hub of Tibetan culture.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on southasianewsline.com. You can also visit us on facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.